Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Tech Guy Zone. I'm Oliver, I'm the tech guy, and today's a bit shorter, maybe not so short, but a bit shorter video is about Blender and how you modify my Y-axis rail carrier to fit to your Ender E3v2 design. Now let's get started with an empty Blender file, and we are going to remove this cube. And I'm going to change first my units because I don't like to work with meters. I usually work with millimeters. And then I'm going to import my three files. So my three files are the no screws design, the screws, and the aligner. And I'm going to import by scene unit. I'm importing my STL, so I have to zoom in a little bit. And here we go. Here you see the three blocks I just got. Now I move them a little bit out. I can put those here. So this is a carrier without holes. So these four holes which you see are for the belt clamps here. So those you need. This you can't remove. But now your bad holes might be somewhere else than mine. So, and this we are now going to adopt. So the little trick what I'd like to show you is, first of all, okay, this design now has its origin already here pretty much in the middle of the design of the STL file, but you might not have this in other designs. So I show you how to do it. First of all, we are pressing Tab to select the STL vectors, and then I'm going to select these outside edges. I did not round those edges by 45 degrees because I just want you have a very simple job in selecting those edges. And now after I select it, I'm going to my mesh and I snap my cursor to select it. So, oh, the cursor moved a little bit up, yes. So what it does, it sets this cursor into the middle of those 4 points, which is the middle of my big carrier object, right? So I'm leaving that now. So this cursor is a very important thing. Now I'm going to add a new empty. And it snaps it, it adds it right away to the cursor. Everything gets added here to the cursor. And this empty is a trick of you. If you don't know this trick, I recommend you to do that. I show you why. I call this holes, and I add a new empty, and I call this aligner. So now I have two empties. Now what I'm going to do first, you see those two objects don't have their origin in the middle. So first I set this origin to my object. Object, set origin to geometry, because it's round. It's a round screw, so it will be in the middle of this circle. And I'm also going to do the same with the aligner, origin to geometry. So then I'm going to snap object, snap selection to cursor, which is my middle here of my plate, of my shape here. And now I'm going to put this one into as a child into my empty. You can put objects into childs of empties. So I'm going to select this screw and my empty for holes, and I press the right mouse button, and I make it a parent object. And now this is a child of my empty. So the thing is, now if I move around my empty, it will move around everything what is in the empty. If I move around my child, it will only move around the child, but it keeps the alignment. When I move then the empty, it will keep always the empty and the child together. I also mark my aligner and mark my empty aligner, press the right mouse button, say parent object. It's also here. Now I mark my empty. I forgot it yet to snap it to the middle. I make snap selection to cursor. Zang. Now it's in the middle. Good. So I have my two empties inside my aligner and my holes. I disable the view of the aligner and I enable my X-ray view. I don't know how is it called. It's my X-ray view. So, and first I need to check the position of my object here, and I see it's too high. You see this consists out of two areas. One is the screw itself, and the below area is the thread which I'm using. So this is a thread I'm using. It's a 6x6, 6mm by 6mm, and the screw itself is an M4. Anyway, we need this a little bit below, so I move the whole empty down. See? And it moves this whole thing here around. Okay. Now I move it to my, let's say, to my edge of my object, which is DC. So let's move this to, I'm not sure how high is this. Let me double check how high is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5. So of course it needs to look a little bit out because I want to cut a hole into it, and I need 6 because my thread has a height of 6. I need 6 inside the object. So I move it to, like, let it show out 1.5, something like that. So, and this is where it should be, but it's still in the middle. I assume you have, let's assume you have also 4 holes in a distance of 40 millimeter on the x-axis here, and on the y-axis, let's say 20 centimeter from one distance from one to the other. So we are going to move this by x on 20. So, and we are going to move this by y on 10. Okay. And now we have, maybe you moved your cursor, so we just put the cursor back. You are selecting your empty. You say you snap cursor to selected. Now we have our cursor to our, let's say, origin of our screw area. Okay. If I select this object, I still have the origin here, and then my empty has the origin where the whole screws should have its origin. When I select this object, you also see that the dimensions are 6 and 6, and you can easily change them here, right? Because Blender always gives you this, sometimes a bit annoying, but when you do the trick with the empty, it will help you dramatically for screws, for like cut-like design using Blender 4. So it's absolutely easy to handle. But what we are now what we want to do is, I don't want to copy it around. You know, I make it very simple. I actually want to mirror it. But when I'm going to mirror it, I want to mirror it towards with the origin of my empty. So I'm going to, I snapped my cursor already to the origin of my empty, and now I'm going to snap to set the origin to a 3D cursor. Okay. And you see in this setup, you have always your origin of your center of your whole setup, and you have the origin of the empty, and you can always align them back and forward. Now we are going to add a modifier. We say we are going to mirror this. So this is mirrored on the x-axis. Now I mirror it on the y-axis. And I have exactly my 4 screws. This is 40, this is 20. And it's perfectly aligned. It's exactly what I need. It's 100% right from the dimensions. Good. And now we are selecting our carrier. We add a new modifier. We boolean it, and we boolean our screws. And now we hide them. And you see, this is the new design. That's it. You don't need to change anything. This is already done. Your screws are where you need them. So Maybe you also, if you have more smaller holes, I suggest you to use the aligners as well. It's done in exactly the same way. And now you are going to export it, file, export as STL, and that's it. Just a little comment. If you wonder what those lines are, these are tubes, so to say. It's cylinders with a diameter of like maybe 0.5 diameter. And what it does, it will add, you see I added 2 layers, one in the Y direction and the other in the X direction. So this is stabilizing because, as you know, when the slicer is, it would just infill this, and I want this design very stable, and this is why I added that. Good. Okay, that's it. So please, if you like my channel, give me a thumbs up. I will be very happy to see that. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.